So today, I'm going to be painting this slod wizard guy, mage thing. He's technically, according to the package, a green slod, and so that's what we will do. We'll paint him a nice green. He's from the Nulzer's Marvelous Miniatures series from WizKids, which is their like pre-primed, ready-to-paint miniatures. Which means you absolutely can just pop them out of the box and start painting. I chose to paint him to Zenithal prime him on top of this, though, which means I primed him black, as you can see by looking underneath there, and then from above sprayed him with a white. This will help the paint we're going to use today lay down and give us some shadows and highlights and stuff. So I'm just going to get right into it. I'm going to use mostly contrast paint today, but we will use some normal paint as well. I'm going to start with Militarum Green. It's sort of a, as the name suggests, a military green. And I'm just going to put this all over the skin. And because of how thin this paint is, it means we can come back with other greens later and give some highlights to parts of the skin or shade some parts of the skin with different greens. So, and I'm going to use this little card that came with him as a guide. Some of these places, it's hard to tell what is skin and what's the leather on him. Interesting. Gotta shake my paint a little bit more. I can see the surface tension not wanting to break of the paint as I'm applying it, which means the medium is not properly mixed. Today on Straight from the Pot, Greg shakes paint. Alright. Huh, that's weird. I wonder if it's just this paint is kind of strange, or if I got some substance on my primer or something. It's very odd. What I mean is, if you look at when I'm putting the paint on, it's sort of pulling back. See that? That's the surface tension not breaking. And it's supposed to when you apply it to a miniature. So I'm just going to do my best to work through it. And if it becomes too much of an issue, I guess I will switch models to something else. But so far it seems okay. It's applying, but it is strange to see that. It may just be that for some reason my paint dried in a humidity level or a temperature that wasn't conducive to it. That's odd though, because it dried in my kitchen, so you'd think that the temperature and humidity levels would be well within range, but whatever. Let's see if it does it down here. Yeah, it's doing it down here too. So the next possibility is, this is a new spray paint can I used. I may have not shaken it enough, or this paint just may not be the best for painting on. I've never encountered a spray paint that doesn't allow you to paint on top of those, so that would be strange. It's very interesting. I am a little worried because I just primed an entire army using this spray paint. So I'm hoping that it's just a fluke of this miniature and not the paint itself. The other possibility is that there was still some mold release left on this miniature when I primed him, and that mold release is now leaching through the primer. Typically that doesn't happen, but it's a possibility. And so that is not allowing the paint to bond quite as well with the rest of the miniature. But we'll see as we move forward. We will see. This part in here is going to be tricky because I can't exactly tell what is part of his skin and what is his garments that he's wearing. So, I might just have to take a guess and hope that I get some of it right. Same with his chest. I think this in here is skin, and according to the picture it is, so yeah. But it's kind of tricky to tell what is skin and what is cloth or leather. There we go. Okay, so we can follow this around. That's good. And then, so that must all be the cloth, and then down here must be skin. So then, I think that's still cloth. This is obviously skin here. Yeah, this, I don't know, this primer is really giving me trouble on this guy. This is so strange. I've never had this happen before on a primed miniature. I've seen it happen on miniatures that weren't primed, but to see it on a primed miniature is very strange. Thankfully, it doesn't seem to be too bad. On some things, if you try to paint them, and it does this, the paint just will not stick. It'll bead up and not do anything. So thankfully, it is still going on. It's just being a pain in the butt. So we got some more skin in there. Any skin on this arm? I don't think so. So it looks like just this hand left, and then the skin is done. I say the skin is done, but I think I'm going to come back. I'll do my typical stopping points or finishing points on this guy, where you can call it a day after you put X paints on, and then if you want to continue, you can to spruce it up a little bit. This guy has the longest thumb in frog history. My goodness. His thumb starts way over here and is practically curling back to his knuckle over here. Goodness. Alrighty. Alright, so that should be all the skin done. And it is, except for this little finger right there. Alright. Then I'm going to move on, and I'm just going to do the second biggest thing on him, which is the cloth or leather or whatever it is. I'm going to do it in color. I'm going to do it in snakebite leather, I suppose. And then we'll do the straps in a different color. So I'm going to see. This is going to be the true test about why this why the paint is not sticking as well as it should be. If this paint does the same thing, then it's not the Militarum green we just used, and it's something to do with the miniature. If this works just fine, then it's the Militarum green that's messed up. Nope. It's doing the same thing. If you look right there, as I'm applying it, it's shrinking back in on itself. That's so strange. Do not know why. Like I said, hopefully it's not the primer. That will be quite disappointing. I'm hoping that it's this miniature is for some reason leaching its mold release through the primer. And I'm also trying to think back if I've ever primed one of these pre-primed miniatures. I'm pretty sure I have. I was trying to think maybe if that was reacting badly. The stuff they pre-prime it with was reacting badly with my primer, but I'm pretty sure I've primed these before. I don't know. This is just turning into Greg muses about why his paint won't stick. It's very strange. But, you know, it's still sticking somewhat, so I'll press on. I'll try a normal paint here in a second, a non-contrast paint, and see what that does. Oh, there's a strap in there, okay. Yeah, like right up in the recesses especially, it will not go in there. Which makes me think it is the mold release issue. Because the mold release would pool in the crevices here. But why it got through the primer is a question for the ages. And I guess this could just be the case of a bad miniature. For whatever reason. This miniature may have just been not cleaned off leaving the factory, or too much mold release agent was used on him, or who knows what could have happened. It's very strange, though. I think I've probably said it's very strange like 50 times this stream, but that's okay. Alrighty. Get the underside here. He's got more robe up here. So normally, if this kind of thing were to happen while you're painting, if you aren't in the middle of a stream, I would say that you should immediately go soak your miniature in soapy water, just like some Dawn dish soap, in warm water. Chuck your miniature in there for an hour or so. Or if you want to physically scrub him or her, you can probably scrub him for about 5 minutes, but soaking him for about an hour would be just fine. And then re-prime your miniature after that. That should alleviate this problem. This problem shouldn't be happening at this stage, I will say again. But if for some reason you do run into this problem, that's how you would solve it. Scrub with or soak in soapy water, and then reprime the miniature, and then go back to painting. And if it still persists, then you've got a real conundrum on your hands. Might be just that you have to scrap that miniature or try to work through it like I am here. But I will say, if I was not streaming, I would be chucking this guy in soapy water and waiting an hour. But watching me watch a miniature soak, I don't think would be good viewing. I could be wrong. There are strange things on the internet that people enjoy viewing. However, I don't think this would be one of them. Alright, so that... Oh, I missed a little spot down here at the bottom. I'm going to do his staff next. I want to do the straps and stuff next, but it's too close to this color that I just did, so... The green seems to be drying fine, so that's good. I was afraid that if the reason it's not applying well is the mold release, I was afraid that it was gonna keep it moist and have it not dry properly, but it seems to be drying okay, so that's good at least. So I'm gonna do the staff now. I'm gonna start with Wildwood, just a medium brown color, leaning towards dark brown, I guess. And let's see, let's take a look at this staff. What is this staff exactly? It looks like wood with skulls tied to it. Yep. Okay. Okay. This doesn't... I was going to say it doesn't seem as bad on here. You know what else this may be? Is sometimes when you spray paint, you'll get a speckly pattern, like a powder almost on your miniatures. If you spray wrong, I should say. And I wonder if I'm just on the cusp of that. If I almost sprayed from too far away or in the wrong temperature. And so it hasn't actually given me the powder on the miniature like it will, but I do have a powder that is smaller than my eye can perceive, and so it's not allowing the surface tension to break of the paint. You can see on here there's some speckling, but that's just the nature of a spray can over a darker color. That's not physical texture, so it shouldn't be a problem, but that could be it. And then that combined with the thinness of the contrast paint could be causing the issue. It's hard to tell what exactly is going on this staff. It's got a lot of little bits and pieces here. But I think we're painting everything that's supposed to be wooden. Alright. There we go. That should be everything. I think everything else is skulls now. I think. Alright. So that first brown we did is pretty dry. So I will go and paint the straps. I'm going to paint them Nazdrag yellow. I think this will be far enough away from snakebite leather to not look like the same color, but if it is not when we get it on here, we'll reconsider. I'm reconsidering. Just wipe off as much of that as I can real quick, and we'll find a different color. I think I'll do Darkoath Flesh for this. So I'll start with this spot I just painted. We'll just go over that real quick. There we go. Yeah, wow. This That I just painted right across that, and that's the... It worked fine on the second pass, but wow. So here, as I paint this, you'll be able to see. Come down right here. No, it didn't do it as bad. Yep, there it is. You can see the paint just retreating off of the spots that I've painted. Well, I'm going to paint this guy to the what would have been normally our first stopping point. Well, actually, maybe after I get the first coat on it, it'll the paint will stick better. We'll see. Might have to cut this stream short, unfortunately, because this miniature is just not behaving. And I'll have to go see if I can figure out why. Like I said, I just primed an entire army with this color, so if it's like 60 miniatures or so. So if the problem is the primer, I'd like to find out sooner rather than later. Get this bag here. He's got like shorts on here. Those aren't going to be this color. They'll be a different color, so I think that's... Oh no, that's his belt, so yeah, I'll paint that this color. And I'll get this. There we go. Alright, and then I'll just get the wrapping around his wrists and around his legs. Ankles, I guess. And just around his ankles here. Then I'm going to try... I think I'm going to make these like... I don't think these scales on his shoulder are part of him. But I'm going to make them a green color. I think that'll look good. And then people looking at the miniature can decide for themselves if it's part of him or not. But either way, I think it'll be a good color. Alright, so that is all of that color done. Oh, we have a little bit of it up here in the skulls. Right there and right there. And looks to be about it. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to do his shorts, and he's got a little bit of an undershirt here. I'm just going to do that in some Black Templar. And then we're almost done, to be honest. Got a hair here in the... Got stuck to the miniature during priming. That's okay, though. Can fix that in a second. that. He's got this under here. Can't really see anything there. Should just be this down here. Alright. Then I'll do the scales on his shoulders. I'm going to use a sort of off blue-green, sort of aqua color. Pterodon turquoise, it's called. And then we just have the bones, the spikes and the skulls and stuff. And then the jewelry and the spell effect. And that'll be about it. Alright. Just make sure not to leave any white between the colors, because that will pop out and look terrible. So there we go. Do the other one here, which is mostly hidden by this skull, but not completely. Because of this color proximity to this skull here, we'll do the jewelry next. And then, depending on how dry this green is, we'll do the spell effect, and then do the skulls and bones last. Just so we don't have any bleed over. Since this color bleeding into our bone color would be quite dramatic and would kind of ruin the effect. Alright, so now for the jewelry. There is no gold or metallic contrast paint, so I'm going to use a normal paint for this. I'm going to use Peridot Alchemy. Am I? No, I think I'm going to use Necro Gold. Use Necro Gold from Scale 75. Give this a good shake. The name, I think in Spanish, I enjoy is Oro Necrotico. I enjoy that name. I don't know if it's in Spanish. It looks Spanish to me. So I'm just going to paint all the jewelry in this color. He's got some hanging down here. I'm actually going to do all of the metallic in this, the jewelry and the functional. He's got a couple more pieces here. Alright, and then I think, are these teeth? Or are these jewelry? Those are teeth. Okay. Freaky. So, I'm just gonna do these two little rings here then. In gold, this little clasp. Alright, there we go. I guess that'll be it for the gold, because those are teeth in there. So basically on this guy, I'm going to do everything normally, and then I'm just going to focus on the face for the continuations. And that's how we'll get this to look a little fancier than just base coats, basically. Alright, so then I'm going to use some Agros Dunes. I'm going to do this all over the bones. So this skull here. And there's our surface tension issue again. Really wish I knew why this was happening. A little bit of bleed over there because I didn't wait long enough. But not too bad, so we can just adjust it. Right, and then up here on the bones on the staff. Oh, and then the spikes on the back. I knew I was missing something. Couldn't figure out what it was. I love a good bone coat. Oh, I should probably be on camera, huh? There we go. Alright, so almost done here. Oh, this little eyeball in there. Oh, and I missed some color down here. Just blend it in with that, why not? And then do the spikes real quick. Right. There's that. I'm going to do the spell effect real quick. I'm going to start with Aethermatic Blue. Then we're going to have to wait for this to dry, and then I'm going to come back with a second color. While that's drying, I'm going to go to the details on the face. And basically how you could take this miniature to the next level beyond just the base coats. The face in this miniature is quite detailed, so that's going to be our easy way out of that, basically. Just coating this with this Aethermatic Blue. And we're going to come back and add some to it there in a minute. Alright, but let's go to the face now. So, you know, you could leave the miniature right here. It's not the most exciting of paint jobs, but it would get you on the table, no problem. But if we want to take it to the next step, we will. So, I'm going to take some... what color? Take some orc flesh. And I'm just going to do basically the underside of the mouth in this color. So I'm going to do basically down here. Getting all the way under his head here. All that. Good. Alright. Just like that. Then I'm going to grab a normal paint, not a contrast paint. Rackhearth Flesh in this case. And I'm going to paint all these. Well, I'm going to paint, first of all, these things hanging down here, whatever they are. You missed a spot. Perfect. I'm sure I did. Probably missed several spots. All right. And then I'm going to flip this guy upside down because this will make it easier. He says, I'm just going to paint all these little protrusions, which I guess are teeth. Those are called bojangles. Oh, okay. Thank goodness you were here to let me know. Well, there's one more down here. There we go. All right. Actually, while I'm here, I'm going to base coat the eye in this color. So I can come back in a minute and paint it. Okay. There's that. Then I'm going to find a light green. At least I hope. Yeah, yes. Here's one. What is this? Alien goo. Sounds like a great color. Frogs are basically aliens, as far as I can tell, so it stands to reason that they'd have goo. At least I think. So then, with this alien goo color, I'm just going to paint all the bits under these teeth here. And then I'm going to try and highlight as many of these little bumps he has on him as possible. Well, actually, I'm going to do his lip in this color also. Alright. Whoa now. What, are you upset that I'm calling frogs aliens? So I'm just trying to be as careful as possible and dot some alien goo onto all the dots or the bumps on him. He's got all sorts of them here, so I'm just gonna dot around, not necessarily having to hit every single one exactly. Okay. And then I'm just going to check to see if he has any of these bumps anywhere else on him. Nope, he doesn't. Okay, just his face. So there's that. Let's see what else. So then I'll do the eyeballs. I'll do the eyeballs in red. These flushed, no, not flushed hair. Blood angels, sure. Blood angels red. Whatever I happen to pick up, we'll use that. Put it in there on the eyeball, and then on the other one. Okay. Then I think I will put a little dot of yellow into each of those eyeballs. If I can find my yellow, there it is. What am I using for this? Thorn yellow. Super pale yellow. Just need a tiny dot of it into each eyeball. So, actually I might do a slit. That's fine. There we go. And then on this side, that works. All right. Now he's got some eyeballs. Lovely. So then, not a fan of how the face is currently. I think I'm gonna get a black Templar, and I'm gonna do those little bits under the teeth and do those in black instead of that light green. These bits right here. And right over there. I think I like that more. I think I'll do a little bit of a black line here on these also. All right, that'll do. And then I'm just going to go over the face with some Plague Bearer flesh, just to tie the bright green and the darker green of his skin together. Going to be careful not to hit the eyes or the teeth with this, so that will dramatically change the color of them. There we go. That brings it more into line, I think. Then I'm just noticing that he has fingernails and toenails or claws in a couple places. So I'm just going to grab my Vampiric Highlight. It's my go-to white. I'm just going to put some white on those, and then we'll put some wash onto them after I do the rest of the spell effect. Those are hidden behind the staff. I'm not going to bother with them. I would do those, but I'm about to work on the spell effect and it'll just run. So, alright, so then I'm going to grab some Magos Purple, which is a pretty pale purple pinkish color. And I'm just going to do this all over this spell effect. The blue will stick around, but we'll get sort of a purple hue to it, which is what we want. Just want to make sure the purple isn't on too thick in any one spot. So we don't want like any pools of purple like we would normally with contrast paint. We just want there to be some purple on the raised edges of this spell. Alright, there you go. So now it looks, it's just got a little more something going on there. Now I will go back and do the fingernails on this hand, which I guess start here. Okay. Then I think I will grab. I'm gonna grab this. No, I'll use this. So I'm gonna get some Kislev flesh, which is normally a skin color. I'm just gonna lightly dry brush, overbrush, whatever you want to call it, over the bones on this miniature. So I'm just going to get some on my brush, wipe most of it off, make sure there's no moisture on the brush. And then I'm just going to come in and do some of this over the bone. It's just a little too brown for me where it was at the moment. This will change the tones of it just a little bit. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this blue on the shoulders here. I will use... what will I use? I'm going to use some Techless blue. Is that what this is? Yeah. Techless blue. So exactly like the color I just did. Get some on the brush. Get most of it off. And then just dry brush it on. There we go. Just to move it a little bit more away from green into blue. All right, and I think that'll do it for this guy. Check to see what time it is. Yeah, that'll do it. So yeah, that's him. Not the most detailed paint job, but again, easy to put on a board and play with in your games, no problem. Sorry about the paint application issues. I'm not really sure what happened there. I'll have to try to troubleshoot that and hopefully have it not happen again. But in the end, it worked out, I guess. We have a fully painted miniature, so that's all that matters. So yeah, I'll be back here next week. Painting something, maybe a dragon, who knows. Thank you everybody for watching, and I will see you next time.